First, we can receive the minister.
Thank you very much, Pastor.
Yes, RDC, Deputy Speaker, Deputy Vice Chairperson, CEO, please call the beautiful professor. You're welcome.
Here, if it was not for education, and for development to take place, education is very key. And all of us are concerned about education, and that's why we are here today. And I want to appreciate God that you've heeded to the call that came at short notice, and you've all come that together we discuss the situation of education in the district and also come up with feasible strategies to be able to improve the education status of our district.
But we still send them to their mothers. They are ready now. A poor woman who also is not even working class, she just goes to dig. What will the poor woman do for the mother? So I'm calling upon parents who are here, provide those children with the pads that they are supposed to have. We shouldn't now shy away from that, which is known that a child must go under. So provide what they are supposed to be provided. Because at least I know the schools do that. They do support them at school when they go and when they are in those kind of conditions. Because we have always encouraged them, please make sure as you budget for these girls to ensure they have what they are supposed to have at school, the facilities for them. And I thank head teachers. When I go for inspection, I go and check and I find that there is something they have done for them. They have budgeted and they have some changing dresses and they have some changing rooms for them and some materials there for them to do that school. But they're not enough. We need support from parents. But maybe that's why we say that government increase on so that the schools can have for them a lot that they can even carry and use at home. Because our parents are failing. Here in Butebo. And we call them Kanyiri group, those ones who don't want them to hear about education. Even treatment, when a child falls sick, they don't go to hospital. They don't want to go to medical education. They are there, we have them here. But we are trying to struggle with them and we are trying to educate them that it's important to have children go to school. Because for them, they are able to read. What about a child that is now coming up? How would that child read a signpost? So we are trying to fight that. But we also request government to come in and and see how best we can handle such people, so that we have all our children educated. Land of school land, especially non-titling of school land. Let me not mention, but it is a problem. We have schools that have failed to process land titles, and they are just like sporting on where they were allocated. It is becoming a problem for them to develop. They want to cultivate for learners food, but it is also becoming a problem because they are on land that was given by church, and they are given only where to have the classrooms, nowhere to put even a bunch of bananas for the learners, or even to have demonstration garden. That is another point that maybe we should come together and see how best to handle, because we realize in the figures below. Expected classrooms, that one I want to test that we go through. Let me not take a lot of time because we already read. Now the recommendations that I see there, we have any big. Some of the challenges have been summarized in the figures below. Expected classrooms, as we look at the enrollment in the public schools. We have only 848, and the available classrooms are the expected are supposed to be 848, but the available are 290. Can you see that gap? Then the gap that is 556. 556. You can see? Members, I think you have also moved in our public schools. You see children squeezed, whereby even a teacher has nowhere first to go and help, give individual whatever help to those learners. They just stand here and lecture. No way of helping these learners there because of there's no space. Children are hit and others sit under the tree. Those who can manage that this weather, you would sit under the tree. Classroom people ratio, we have 160. That is the classroom teacher ratio current, and the ideal is supposed to be 155. Can you imagine that? And sanitation in our public schools is really not, it is appalling. This is a reality. Then gaps, 718. That instances I've already talked about that. Now we look at the expected desks. They are supposed to be 15,545. The available desks are 5,182. You find them seated up 9 seated on one desk. And how do you expect them to write? Especially our children in low, I must tell you, P1, P2 sit on the floor. How will they improve on handwriting? And it is the foundation. Let's think about that. Expected teacher ratio, 848. Available teachers, 549. And the gap is 299. How will performance really be improved if one teacher is handling such a big number? That is the government now. Recommendations, parents should provide midday meals. The district council to come up with ordinances on education-related activities. Creation of model schools. We have model schools that we have created in our sub-counties, the old sub-counties, that we really need to ensure that we should continue supporting them, and we need to have others on board.
We need, but in the interim, we need a solution. And for me, provision of classroom space and teaching staff is something that we should proactively work on and make sure we have a solution. The other issue is model schools. You mentioned the model schools. Madam DEO, your model schools won't work because you systematically selected the worst schools. Not the ones that are listed there. Kadokolene got 0 first grade. Matankole got 0 first grade. Petete got 0 first grade. Kabangasi got 0 first grade. It's only a minimum. If those children are not even coming from private schools that are sitting from there. So, what is your concept of a model school? I think we need to revise that. Because you can't have those who are not performing and you want to make them model schools. we made our bisampa to sit on. Every Friday, we carried the cow down to school to smear the floors so that we can control the dust. So, for you of these days, the Mulinite to Gamba, you can't tell us that because you have classrooms, they even have cement, that you can't go to school. I don't think those excuses are enough. My teachers, I think some of them are still alive. I usually call on them once in a while. They earned so little money. But those men and women never missed a lesson. Mr. Rode Kateu was one of my teachers at Kararak. And I remember him because he had the cleanest pairs of slippers. Very clean and easy leg in ganja. Those days, there was no soap. You know, there was no soap in this country. But we went to school. We went to school. And it was basically the determination of parents. At that time, sending a girl child to school was a luxury. But now we have programs to help girl children to go to school. When we reach P5, P6, P7, the senior woman teachers will start to prepare us how to be wives. Because girls didn't go very far in education. So, we have come from very far. And for me, when I see all these schools, the little primary school didn't have a single building. Even the church building which was there was broken. Yet, children studied. For the primary school where I started, we didn't have a complete room, any single complete classroom. The windows were all broken. Yet we studied and passed. Kararaka Primary School had got burned. And we had the very, very basic space to study. But with the support of the community, we still studied. So, we can listen to the situations as they are. But I want to tell you, they are not excuses. They are not good enough excuses. You can study, you can have children study without the perfect buildings, if we are determined. Now, let me go to the things that we have talked about. One, I have analyzed partially the results, and I have some observations. One, the highest pass rate for primary was in 2018. Remember, the district started in 2017. And so, our performance here seems to have had residues of PISA. After that, we plummeted. We totally plummeted. Actually, our first grades dropped from close to 4 to less than, to below 2%. And that trend has continued. We fell down and we have never gotten up. In terms of failures, again, the lowest failure rate was in 2018. Since then, we climbed to our current failure rate, and we have not repented of it. Yeah, I'm a scientist, so I took time, even without the computers and what, I have drawn graphs which show the trends. For me, as an epidemiologist, this informs me that there is something which, since we became an independent district, we must address. Now, we need to identify what is that. You know, you remember we broke away because we wanted better services. Now, the indicators are that the services, we needed to engineer them to become good. What is it that Parisa was doing, which we are not doing? Something is not right there, and we need to look for it. I also noticed that the percentages of our children, or the numbers of our children who get second grade is quite high. And I've asked Chairman, I want to get these results. I am suspecting there is a subject that we are systematically failing. We need to go deeper and find out there is a particular subject which we are systematically failing. Either it is English or math. If we can go to that level of analysis, my fellow academician there was talking to their universities, we will be able to solve. Because I saw one school with a lot of 13s. 13. Those would have been first grade. But they all failed math. So there is, if we are going to solve these problems, we need to reach and find what is the exact problem. Because when I notice a lot of the children, they get second grade, meaning they got at least 4 or less in other subjects, but there is a particular subject or a set of subjects that we are failing. If we are going to solve these problems, we must be able to understand what is the cause. You see, for me, until I became minister, I spent most of my life fighting dangerous diseases. And globally, I became renowned for addressing epidemics that people fail to address. And the reason I did that is I go down to that factor. Once I solve the factor, then we can solve the problem. So I always came up with very simple interventions, which the nations, mostly African nations, could afford, and will be able to get rid of that disease. So a lot of our children, even this year, 31.4% got second grade. By addressing that, we'll address the issue of grades.
New as such, I've made 4 months here in the district, but I'm not very new in the region, sub-region of Bukedi North. On the issue of education, we have just received the results from UNEB for PLE. I want to thank the people of Butebo. At least so far, so good. The performance is not alarming like other districts, but still it is not the best that people should relax. This meeting has called for stakeholders to understand and lay strategies of improving performance in schools. You know, if we are to improve on performance, it is not a one person's contribution. It brings all stakeholders together, and also our call goes back to the parents. We want also the parents to understand their role in the education system. It is not for the teachers, head teachers only, and the other political leaders, but also we have to identify the gaps. I know even the parents down there and other people have challenges that we have to discuss and find a solution for the challenges in order to improve performance. I'm very happy. This is the first kind of thing that I'm saying that the district is organizing such an engagement to make sure that all stakeholders and opinion leaders are brought together on board and discuss strategies to improve performance and make sure that our people get services. So as a head of security, if you don't have an educated community, or if you have such youth who are not going to school or who have failed, it becomes an insecurity. So I'm very happy for the organizers, those people who thought it wise that we have to call all the stakeholders and also look into the performance, the recent performance of our learners. Omwana bw'aba ng'agenda ku ssomero yeetaaga ng'omwana omuteeseteese bulungi. Leka omwana abeere ng'alabika bulungi, yanywedde bulungi caayi okuva awaka, ate nga bw'oba olina obusobozi nga weebuli n'ekyemisana omuweeyo akantu kanaalya mu lubuto. Omwana atalidde oba ensawo etalidde teriimu kintu tesobola kuyimirira. Njagala okubakubiriza, bw'oba olina obusobozi, omwana tomusindika nga talina kitabo, omwana tomusindika nga talina peeni, kubanga omwana oyo bw'awandiika kyekijja okumuyamba omwana abeereko nga mu biseera eby'okwejjukanya bye bayita okurivisinga oba okusoma okwejjukanya, ebyo bye yawandiika ng'asomye mu kibiina asobola okukola ki? Okubijjukira. Mwana si kompyuta, ne bw'ebeera kompyuta osobola okuginyigamu n'oteekamu ebintu bw'otoseevinga tebisigalawo. So ekkalaamu eno n'ekitabo bye biyambako okutereka ebintu ebyo ebinaamujjukiza.